Here's the placket. So I've started by pressing one of the long edges under by 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter. The next step is to fold it right sides together and sew along the unpressed edge. And then you're just going to clip the corner of the seam allowance and turn it right side out. Make sure that pressed edge gets flipped under and press your placket. And then it's ready to put on your skirt. Now that you've got your placket turned right side out and pressed, your next step is going to be to slip it over the edge of the waistband. So you're going to put it about 1/4 of an inch over the edge. And if you did the mullet skirt with multiple layers, make sure you've got both layers in there. And then pin or clip it and sew down the pressed edge. So that'll look like this once you've sewn it. It's time for the side seams, which is the trickiest part of this dress with the plackets. So I've already got one done here, but I'll show you how I got this ready to sew. You're going to take the back with the placket and the front with the facing and line them up so that the bottom of the front bib and the bottom of the waistband are lined up. And you want the seam of the bib to match up with the seam of the placket. And you're going to flip the facing out and pin that in place. Okay, so that's pinned together. Now you can see that the facing and the placket are the same length. If you've made an error at some point along the way with finishing your bottom edges, then they might not match up. But if you're using knit fabric, you can easily adjust them to match, or you can just leave them. They don't necessarily have to be the same length. What's important is that your skirt pattern markings are in the same place. So there's one there and one there under the placket. Okay, so you're going to flip the seams out so that they match up and stick a pin or a clip right at the bottom of the placket and the facing. And then you can pin or clip all the way down. Normally your bottom edges here should be matching up, but mine, because I've done a lace trim on my back skirt and I'm going to be folding up the bottom of the front skirt to hem, they're not the same length. Okay, so that's ready. So let me give you a better close-up of this. So this is the skirt side seam all ready to sew. And you can see that the placket and the facing are right sides together, and your skirt seams are right sides together. And my pattern marking, which is kind of wearing off with the chalk, is right there. And there's your pin at the top where you placed so that the waistband and the bottom of the front bib stay matched up. And then, so where you're going to sew is from that pattern marking all the way down to the bottom edge of the skirt, or you can do vice versa. I actually find it easier to put it in the machine that way. So I would put it in like this, and sew from here all the way down to the pattern marking, making sure that you're sewing just on the edge of the placket and not through it. So now that that seam is sewn, the next step is to sew a horizontal seam from your pattern marking straight through the placket and the facing. So this side's already sewn. I'll show you on this side. This one's not sewn yet. So there's my pattern marking right there. So I'm going to sew across like this, right there. And then once it's sewn, it should look like this. Turn that right side out. You can see your placket after that step looks like this. We're ready to put a snap or a button right through there. So the next step, before you do your snaps and buttons and everything, is to top stitch from down here all the way up around your front bib and then back down to here.